So my name is Jeroen. I'm the head of finance at Liqid Investments in Berlin, Germany. We are the leading digital wealth management platform for affluent investors, and have been using Abacum for the last 2 years. Yeah, so the biggest ROI area that Abacum enabled us to achieve is actually time. So we started with Abacum almost 2 years ago, and have used a kind of like a phased implementation approach. So first kind of like financial statements, actuals, then first financial statements, forecasting, and now also we're expanding the reporting suite to also include many operational KPIs. In the past, kind of like what we did is we worked with various different systems which were not interconnected. So NetSuite on the one hand, BigQuery, and Salesforce, just to mention a few. And Abacum, kind of like we were able to combine all of those and automate a lot of our workflow. So essentially, we set up the logic once, which was very easy. And now it's essentially the only thing what we have to do during monthly or after monthly closing is simply refresh all the data sources, and everything is kind of like showing up automatically, which saves us really, I would say kind of like 3 to 4 days per month of manually having to consolidate all kinds of reports from different systems. A lot of data checks that you need to do in that case, that's all been eliminated with Abacum. Obviously, you can make the argument that you would save a lot, or that it will cost a lot of time to set it up in Abacum. Fortunately, that was actually not the case. We were lucky enough to have good documentation on our KPIs, on our definitions, on our process. And actually, the Abacum team was very, very supportive in helping set up Abacum, and through that way also educated us on the tool. And the tool is so easy to use right now that any additions in terms of like new KPIs or new reports is really easy to do. In our case, actually, mostly interns own the models and further develop them. So Abacum saved us a lot of time in the budget cycle. Not just kind of because basically the foundation that you build for the actuals reporting and for the forecasting logic, that's something also you can use directly in the budget cycle. And it also means that you can basically set up a logic where a number of your KPIs are automated based on actuals, based on some standard input that you provide. And essentially what that meant for me is that during the budget planning process, instead of focusing on, let's say, 25 business drivers, I actually only had to focus on 5 of them. I could go into much deeper discussions with the team, and also given them the actuals reporting against those drivers, you immediately have kind of like full transparency on the planning process, and then understanding kind of like what would drive your business in the next year. So I think kind of here is also again a little bit of the time question. The same is true for when you have kind of like certain elements that you still need to do manually. I think also here Abacum kind of is working on quite a lot of tools where we can further automate our processes, whether it's kind of like Gen AI generated suggestions for manual inputs, or some of the other automation workflows. And in that sense, I think previously, I think I would estimate that our entire budget cycle from, let's say, initial discussions to output towards the board or investors would take approximately 10 weeks. I think we've now cut this down to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on internal discussions, but it's definitely much, much more efficient.